Welcome back. Pennsylvania is the quintessential Trump won it once and is convinced he won it again in 2020. In this projected red wave year, Dems clearly are nervous the GOP will flip the governor's seat, reining in those loose election laws that maybe characterized the 2020 election when it came to Pennsylvania. So they formulated a plan, did the Democrats. Let's not just support our nominee, Josh Shapiro. Let's also support the most extreme Republican candidate who also believes Trump really won the election in 2020. Why not? In theory, that person would probably get swamped in November, right? The candidate of choice, Doug Mastriano. They pump money into his campaign big time.
He wants to outlaw abortion. It's Mastriano who wrote the heartbeat bill in Pennsylvania, and he's one of Donald Trump's strongest supporters. He wants to end vote by mail.
In fact, the Dem candidate outspent Doug Mastriano himself on commercials. They sent out mailers on his behalf to put him at top of the GOP field. Well, it worked. The state senator, retired Army colonel, who happens to have a PhD in history, won. Now the problem, the race is not a blowout at all. With 4 months to go, in fact, Shapiro and the Republican are neck and neck. That Republican, Doug Mastriano, joins us right now. Doug, thanks so much for being here. What do the Democrats not know about you?
Well, first off, I'd like to, thank them for doing this, because Napoleon said never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. But on the other side here, there's confusion in the camp. What they don't know about me is really there's nothing extreme about me. Imagine this, Brian, 30 years in the Army, promoted from, second lieutenant to colonel, constantly being vetted. I had a top secret clearance for 30 years, constantly being investigated. If there's anything extreme about me, obviously our nation would not allow me to have access to some of its most sensitive secrets here. Basically, I'm one of those guys that just loves my country, served in the Army my entire adult life here, and could not stand aside as I was retiring as I saw our country going down the tube. So I stand for the people. I'm the voice of the people. The Democrats have nothing to run on except calling people names and attacking people and demonizing people.
Right now you got two polls. One has Shapiro up 4. The other one has him up 3. You just told me there's another poll out of Pittsburgh that has you in the lead. But people point to the fact, just like Virginia in many ways, Pennsylvania is purplish, right? So Youngkin is very conservative, but he says, hey, listen, my constituency isn't. So when it comes to abortion, I'm going to go out, we've got 15 weeks. You say still abortion for you is a zero-sum game. Abortion should not be allowed in Pennsylvania. And it should be a Second Amendment sanctuary. Do you still hold to both those things?
Well, here's the reality, and having read the Supreme Court decision on the Roe v. Wade, I love what they said in the 3rd paragraph on the 1st page. The issue of abortion is not up to Governor Mastriano. What it says in the decision, the issue of Roe v. Wade is now handed back to the people and the people's representatives. So the people of Pennsylvania get to decide what abortion and life looks like in Pennsylvania. They're the ones that are going to have to say. If that's a heartbeat bill, if that's a fetal pain bill, that's what comes on my desk.
I want you to hear what Governor Christie just told me on the radio about you. Evidently, you attended a conference. How many people knew about you in the Republican Party? They were pretty impressed on what they heard. Let's listen.
Doug Mastriano made what I hear was a great appearance at the Republican Governors Association meeting this week in Aspen. He gained a lot of supporters out there. And, Pennsylvania is going to be a place where we're going to fight hard for the governorship, and we're going to fight hard for Dr. Oz to win the Senate seat.
Doug, evidently a lot of people didn't know much about you. They heard some extreme things, but they were impressed with what they had. Do you think you'll get their support?
Obviously they're going to have to make that decision, and I believe in the end, Brian, that the Republican Governors Association will back us, because it's a neck-and-neck race. What I laid out to the good folks at the RGA over there in Aspen was that we had a tough primary. There was 9 people on the ballot. I was outspent 16-1. But I've been fighting for the people against the shutdown, and trying to find voting integrity and connect it with the folks out there. And that's why it's close. My opponent should be double digits ahead. The last Republican that ran against our Governor Wolf, he was never within single digits. I come out of a hot, heated primary just a couple points behind my opponent. This tells me we're going to win because we're on the right side of the issues. Democrats want to talk about, calling people names. He's far this, he's extreme, which is quantifiably false, by the way. And I'm going to talk about the issues. We're going to talk about inflation, and we're going to talk about Pennsylvania's energy potential. We're going to talk about gas prices and the remedies that we have in Pennsylvania to address that, to make life bearable and livable.
All right, Doug Mastriano, we'll see if you can add governor to your resume. It's already pretty long. Thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless you, Brian.
All right. Meanwhile, straight ahead, President Biden is losing support from everyone, including comedians.